This is all cheap spas are good for. How do you know what you're getting? Before spending thousands of dollars on a new hot tub, how do you know what you're getting? A lot of people rely on online experts, but do these so-called experts know what they're talking about? This guy, Chris Wheatley, a master spas dealer out of Nova Scotia, Canada, has thousands of views. But does he really know what he's talking about? Or does he have an agenda? Let's take a look.
It's spraying water all over the place. Chris Wheatley here from Hot Tub University, and today we have got a brand new 2018 Marquis Vector 21 hot tub.
So he's going to do a review on one of the coolest hot tubs, the Vector 21 V84L by Marquis. Let's see what he has to say.
So I can tear the damn thing apart, make sure these guys are doing what they say I'm doing, because I don't want to be telling you guys the wrong information.
Whoa, we haven't even seen the spa yet, and it's already a damn thing he's tearing apart? Really? He just said he doesn't want to tell us the wrong information, but we'll just tell you, if you watch his entire video, you're going to see lots of mistakes or outright misrepresentations.
So, although they're using a good foam here, this is the isocyanine foam that I always recommend. It's a good lightweight foam, it never hardens up. So I like the foam, but what I don't like is the carelessness with which it's been applied.
I think he's up to something here.
But man, you get around to the back where nobody's going to ever see. My God, you can see the shell. There's literally no insulation on the shell. There is like no foam up underneath the shell area here. Nothing at all. It's only 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep in most places. Hell, it's not even a 1/2 inch deep there. Man, this should be all the way out to here. This should be 5 or 6 inches. Now, maybe in this front area, I could excuse some of it because, again, you need to be able to let those motors breathe. But holy jumping, guys. The hell is that? Half this thing is empty. I mean, there could be 1.5 foot more foam in there.
Okay, he orders a spa insulated for a climate like Texas and then complains about the light insulation.
I'm not that smart.
Here we have the same spa with a full foam retail package. This is the one he should have ordered to do his video because he lives in Canada, not Texas. He clearly knows the difference because when he reviews his brand, he describes a full foam retail package costing $400. Take a look.
To fill this whole cavity is about a $450, $500 retail package.
Does this look intentional to you?
Look at that motor. All that foam is literally right up against that motor. You look in this area here and it's literally up against the pump head and the motor. Man, that's just not good. That's going to cause a lot of issues with cooling. So that motor's going to run hot, simple as that.
You can see the exhaust vents are on the back of our motor, not affected by foam touching the side. But if you missed it, the primary complaint he has is the wet end heating up. Anybody in the industry 30 years knows that the wet end can only get as hot as the water. Either he said that on purpose or...
I'm not that smart.
Is this looking like an honest review so far? He knows he didn't order the full foam option. He knows the wet end doesn't heat up. He knows the vents are on the back of the motor. We're beginning to see a pattern here. Let's take a look at the shell.
Second thing he told me is this is a hand-rolled, self-supported shell. Now, self-supported shell means that we're putting 2 or 3 layers on. So we're using a good vinyl ester resin. We're hand-rolling the glass. We're doing 2 or 3 layers. We're building up the shell so it's strong enough to support its own weight. He told me it was self-supporting. Right off the bat, I got into this tub, and what did I find? Prop supports. There's one there. One around the other side. So, not self-supporting. Prop supported. And you know, this little framing you got out here, little the 1x1s or 2x2s, whatever the hell they are, 1.5s. Okay if it's a self-supporting shell, not okay if it's a cradle-supported shell. I mean, Jesus, if you're having to use props to hold your shell together, this needs to be a lot more robust. We need a lot more done on this.
He's not even trying at this point. We filled the spa, pulled the frame off, and, well, looks self-supported to me. He keeps harping on things holding the shell together. Wood, props, foam. Let's take a second to explore this. We have a single piece, fiberglass-backed, hand-rolled acrylic shell. Nothing is needed to hold it together. It's like saying a beer cozy holds the beer can together. It's just silly.
So that's strike 2. And you know what that does? That puts you into the middle pile. That doesn't put you to tier 1, guys. That puts you with everybody else, because if you shop a hot tub, I'll tell you what you're going to find. You're going to find A couple of guys are doing all 4 of the good things. And by the way, those are the expensive things: hand rolling your shell, gluing and clamping your joints, using good parts, filling the cavity with insulation. Those are what cost money. Hell, everybody does 1 or 2 of those and then doesn't do 1 or 2 of those. So they put you right back into the middle. I'm not sure I'm going to stand behind this brand anymore. And I got to say, I'm disappointed, because I've told a lot of people that Marquis was a good brand, that you were doing all these things because you told me you were doing all these things.
So Chris placed the Vector series in his middle pile based on inaccurate observations, lack of research, and an apparent bias because Marquis wouldn't let him take his vacation at their factory. So we have to place his reviews in the bottom pile. An honest and fair evaluation of the Marquis Vector line would place it above what he calls top tier. Marquis leads the industry in quality and innovation. Their new jet design is so advanced that it doesn't even require clamps. Now, on the plumbing that does use clamps, they always use them. But through this new design, it saves manufacturing time, and that saves you money.
Now, parts-wise, good. US Motors, I'm a big fan of them. Balboa electronic control and heating systems, I'm a big fan of it. Those fancy square handles that they call something crazy, they're diverter valves. They move water around within the tub. And they got 4 of them on this tub, which is idiocy because you don't need 4, man. I was playing with this thing. It took me forever to figure it out. And they've got valves divert water a little bit to part, and then if you turn the other one, it moves a little bit to the part. If you move it to the other one, it shares it. If you move it to the other one, it steals all of it. You could have done it with 1 diverter valve. So they put all these extra valves on so it looks like this, so they can go, oh my God, you know, what's happening? And the marketing guys can have a field day, and the truth is it's made no difference.
Here we have the full power in one seat while using the foot jets at the same time. I can turn this seat off here, turn this seat on here. No other spa can do this. I can enjoy therapy in any single seat while using the foot jets at the same time, while somebody else in the tub who just wants to soak doesn't have to have the jets on at all. Marquis is able to deliver a full 160 gallons a minute into any individual hot seat. HOT stands for High Output Therapy, and no other spa can do this. Think of it like a throttle control from 0 to 100%. If you're looking for power, these jets deliver.
So if we put it all the way one way, it puts a little bit of water right there, and a little bit of water right there, and then there's a big monster jet down in the footwell. And then if we turn this one, it moves the water. Was it that one? Yeah, it was. Oh no, it's this one. It shut off that valve entirely, moved just the water to these 2, and if we turn this one again, while that one's turned the other way, it puts most of the water to the bottom one, except for the top ones. And it's screwed up because if we shut off those top ones with this valve here, and then do this, and then do this, see, I can't even figure it out.
What valve is he moving? It seems to me like if someone's doing an honest review, they would show what they're doing and what the effect is when they do it. So let me show you the V.O.L.T system that Chris clearly doesn't understand. The V.O.L.T system is vector optimized laminar therapy. It's a really cool way of saying the therapeutic benefit of these jets isn't degraded by turbulent water. Let me show you how the V.O.L.T system works. This is a normal jet like what Chris is used to. It works well, but as the water hits the 90-degree angle, it creates turbulence, which can irritate the skin. Did you notice that he never showed the jets that Marquis uses? They're called jet pods. Let me show you how they work. Direct laminar flow provides 40% more volume than a standard jet. This means a deeper massage with the same power. Revolutionary design? Yes.
The reason is because as soon as we turned on the water features, which I think we did with this handle, yeah, that one ain't working so good. And it sprayed water all over the place, which is why nobody uses these pop-up water features anymore, because they don't work. They work for a little while and then they jam. Well, this one jammed right out of the gate.
Wow, our waterfall is keyed so it goes in the correct way. We can see in his video, by the way most of the water is spraying off to the side, that the waterfall has been turned 90 degrees. Your new spa is filled and fully tested twice at Marquis to make sure it arrives to you working perfectly. I cannot believe the spa in his video left the factory in this condition. And when we see parts taken apart, it makes us wonder if he put it back together correctly.
So when I ran this tub up and got in it, it was okay. I mean, it was good. I mean, the performance on the big chair over there, which has, 2 high flow therapy jets and 2 of the mid flow therapy jets, was actually pretty decent.
At this point, it looks like he's trying so hard to make Marquis look bad, he even miscounts the jets. There are 2 medium and 4 large jet pods, all of which are high flow. It's interesting that he admits he doesn't know how to use the controls, but he says it still feels pretty good. Imagine when you learn to use the jets properly, how awesome this seat really is.
But the rest of those jets are just regular jets. They look different, but they're not different. And guess what that means, guys? There's no real advantage to any of it except to the manufacturer, who now has you by the short curlies, because every time you need a part now, you're going back to them. I guarantee you those parts aren't going to be the same price.
That acting was so good, I almost believed it. Let's take a look at those jet pods. Chris loves his $45 Waterway jets on the brand he carries.
These are Waterways jets. They're the top of the line jet, whereas that Chinese version of it is about a $15 jet. These are $45 ball bearing movement jets.
Vector jet pods are different. By controlling them with the V.O.L.T control, it simplifies the design while improving the performance. Here we have a large replacement jet pod that sells for $8. So yeah, it's a different price and a much better product made by CMP. Custom molded products produces 60% of the jets in the industry. Sorry, we're not on his Waterway bandwagon. We use the best.
Bigger scare here is if that brand doesn't take off, this Vector 21 series doesn't take off, you might not even be able to get parts.
Now, Chris is using a common scare tactic here because he knows the Vector series is far superior to other brands. He's using fear to scare you into thinking the Vector series won't take off. Marquis said, this line is the most impactful line they've ever released, and it's so popular they can barely keep up with demand. They've expanded their factory and added shifts because people love these spas.
Now you might notice the water level's a little low on here, and that was because...
He never tells us why the water level is low. I have a few ideas. I'll get back to that in a minute.
The other thing we had is when we turned on pump 1, and here's what I'm talking about, the diverter valve. So let's put that pump on. And by the way, you'll find out why the water level's a little low in a second here. So right now it's surging because it's sucking air into the system. So the diverter valve thing's kind of goofy too. So if we put the diverter valve on, I'm going to put that on low speed because I don't want it surging anymore.
This is the second time he tells us he's going to explain the low water level. And he never does in the entire video. Now I'm going to explain to you why I think his water level was low. By underfilling the spa, it prevents him from turning the pump on high speed. Look at the power of that foot jet. If you're like me and your feet get sore and tired, nothing beats the colossal whitewater jet. There is no way on earth underfilling this spa was accidental.
So Microsilk is one of these great little marketing things. Ooh, it makes micro bubbles that clean your pores. Now I couldn't quite understand that. I'm not that smart. So I called smart people. I called a couple of dermatologists. I called a couple of GPs, and I said, hey, little bubbles in water, in hot water, cleaning your pores. And they all kind of went, yeah, no real science there, big guy.
Microsilk is a popular option. It was designed and patented by Jason International and used primarily in the bathtub industry for many years. Demand was there, so Marquis made it as an available option on all of the Vector 21 line. We have customers requesting Microsilk, and of our customers that bought Microsilk, they say they use it almost every night. In fact, I ask customers that have Microsilk if they would get it again. They always say yes.
Oh my God, wait, look, it started working. Oh geez, it wouldn't work today, but look, we got micro bubbles coming out.
Chris looks so surprised when the Microsilk comes on. Sounds like he didn't really experience it for himself. I have a feeling if he got the Microsilk to work while using the tub, he'd have something completely different to say about it. You make the Microsilk work by pressing this button labeled Microsilk.
I'm not that smart. So all this thing is doing is just a diffuser, and it's just breaking everything into these tiny little bubbles.
What Chris is picturing here is something like the aerator on a faucet. Microsilk is actually produced by a giant air pump that quietly grinds the air into a fine mist. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to saturate the water, and it creates a unique and enjoyable experience for soaking. Personally, I love using it.
Marquis has been a funny one here because, guys, I've been kind of standing behind Marquis a fair bit, and they're one of the only guys that have pretty much dissed me. So what I mean by that, every other brand I like or endorse, I endorse because I like how they build tubs. And once I started doing that, they were happy to open up their facilities and to fly me in and to have me see everything they're doing, and to give me full visibility so I could talk to you, the customer.
Throughout this entire video, we've been responding to what he's had to say and showing you where he's misrepresented the Vector 21 that he's reviewing. Why would he be so disingenuous? Is it because he sells a competing brand, Master Spas? Marquis refused a factory tour because he's not a dealer, and because he felt dissed, he posted this revenge video that's full of, at a minimum, mistakes and more likely intentional misrepresentations. Seriously, Marquis Spas is an employee-owned company made in the United States. They have the highest quality construction we've ever seen. We've carried other brands and landed solidly on Marquis because we love the quality and comfort of their spas. If you're in the Albuquerque area, come in and try one. If you're outside our area, find the nearest dealer, because if you try it, you'll love it, and trust us, no online review can replace experiencing it for yourself. Don't talk yourself into a cheap spa. Get a nice one. Get a Marquis. I'm Steve Nelson, Hot Tubs Albuquerque. Soak well.